Welcome back to my channel for this week's Human Design Transit Report. And today is Monday, September 12th. And the transit that we're currently in right now, I talked about last week's transit report. So if you want to find out more about that, go ahead right here and go and check that out. Today, I'm going to focus on the upcoming transit that starts on Thursday, September 15th. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So this coming Thursday, the sun is going to move into the gate 6 and the earth is going to move into the gate 36. Now, both of these gates are on the emotional solar plexus, which is the brown square pointing inward into the chart. And it's one of the 3 different centers that actually do not exist in the chakra system. It's called the solar plexus, and it does have some relationship to the third chakra, or the solar plexus chakra. But it's really different also in the sense that it is dedicated really to emotional energy. It is one of the 4 engines in the chart, and the engines are really the source of energetic power, we would say. Okay. And I love that there is this center in human design because it acknowledges really the power of emotional energy. I mean, what is our emotions, right? But energy in motion. Ideally, our emotions are in motion, right? That they're not stagnant or stuck, which unfortunately happens to virtually everybody, from situations that happen to us, often when we're younger, where we get scared or we get shocked or we get traumatized, and then we kind of clench up and we hold on, and then the energy is no longer moving. This can create constellations of stuck energy inside of the cells of the body that include a memory, often a thought, a decision, and an emotion, and also an energy, and they get stuck in the body. And part of what we do when we're doing personal growth work is we're aiming to really move those stuck parts inside of us so that the energy can flow again. And this is definitely something that I work on with clients all the time, using Kundalini yoga primarily. But there's a lot of different energy practices you can do in order to move emotional energy. So the emotional solar plexus is located on the left-hand side of the body, and it is approximately, it's in the upper belly, right, where the solar plexus would be. And whenever we have gates or channels that are connected to the emotional solar plexus, we know that time is involved, that we need to have sufficient time in order to get clarity, because emotional energy, well, it can be a little tricky, right? Because we can feel really expanded, really exuberant, really enthusiastic. We don't always make the best decisions from that place, not because there's anything wrong with that really uplifted energy, but we tend to be in a state where anything feels possible, right? And so we can make decisions without kind of looking at the full picture. Now, on the other side, it's also true with energies that are a little more inward, right? Specifically like things like depression, right? Or if you have an emotional wave, which everyone who's got this defined in their chart is going to have an emotional wave. I do have a whole video about emotional authority and the emotional wave, and you can go and check it out here if you want to see. But everybody who's got that has this wave, and sometimes they're going to feel more inward, more melancholy, and sometimes it can feel depressed, particularly if you don't know what it is and you tend to judge it and so on. But also just sometimes we feel a little less in the realm of possibility, right? We feel a little more shut down, a little more like, I don't have the energy to engage in anything new. And so then if we make decisions from that place, sometimes we're like pushing away things that are actually a good opportunity for us, could be a good support for us. But right at that moment, we don't have energy for it. So whenever we're involved with any of the energies of the emotional solar plexus, and for people who have this defined in their chart, you just need some time to be able to tune in multiple points along your wave to see, is this really the right decision? We then apply that to anything that's running through that center. And today, both the gate 6 and the gate 36 are on the emotional solar plexus. And so we want to make sure that we have sufficient time to be really kind of digesting whatever it is that the energy of these two gates is bringing us. And the Earth has joined Neptune in the gate 36, and it has its mate, which is the gate 35 that Mars is lighting up. Now, I did talk about this in the supplemental video that I did last week. I talked a lot about this channel, so you can go and check that out here. The main thing I want to say here is the gate 36 is kind of complex in the sense that it is this emotional energy, and the emotions tend to be kind of complex, right? And in traditional human design, it's known as the gate of crisis. And in quantum human design, it's known as the gate of exploration. So this is an energy that is inviting us to be working with our emotional energy in such a way that we can expand our sense of possibility, exploration, right? We're going out, we're exploring, we're going beyond maybe where we've been before, individually and collectively, right? We're looking for what else can we possibly find? What else can we discover? What have we not really gotten in touch with before? And I like to think of this as kind of adventure. It's an adventurous kind of energy where we're going out, being an explorer, trying new things, going to new places, having new experiences. This is in the sensing circuit, which is right-brained energy, and it's creative and it is experiential and it's embodied. So this is an energy for having new experiences. I think maybe why it's called crisis in traditional human design, for one thing, is that if we're not really in command of our emotional energy, we can find ourselves either thrown into crisis or we can throw ourselves in when we're not managing our emotional energy, right? It can take us over and we can say things or do things that later on we go, why did I do that? That wasn't such a good idea. So that can create a crisis, right? But if we're in command of our emotional energy, and this is pillar number 2 of feminine sovereignty, is being in command of our emotional energy so that we can be wise about it. It's not that we want to suppress it or lock it in the way I was talking about a minute ago. It's not that, but it is about being able to be in command of it. Rather than having it be in command of you. For example, setting aside time where you can go and process some emotions if you've had some difficult ones, whether that's anger or grief or even shame, any kind of energy that is challenging, so that you don't just express it out at other people in a way that could be harmful, or really express it towards yourself either in a way that could be harmful. So you just want to be able to set aside time for it so that you do not create a crisis. But it's also an energy that can really support you, to buoy you, give you the energy and the power of your emotions to help you to go out and try new things, take some risks, calculate them ahead of time, make sure it's the right time. We were just talking about timing, right? And make sure that it does feel really aligned for you and you're not just kind of getting an impulse and going for it. But when you do that, it can stretch the sense of possibility, the boundaries that we maybe have created for ourselves, or the self-imposed limits that we are carrying around with us. Maybe we learned them from our parents and then we installed them and we're still carrying around with them, or maybe our culture did that. And so we want to be able to be pushing out and exploring beyond those limitations. Now, the sun in the gate 6 is actually very different, because the gate 6 is part of the defense circuit, which is tribal circuitry. And it's a really small little circuit. It just has 2 channels, 4 gates, but it's very powerful because it has what we call aura busting qualities. Okay. The centering circuit and the defense circuit both have aura busting qualities. Well, what does that mean? Basically, what it means is the energy of this is kind of penetrating. Okay, so other people can feel it. And the thing is you may not even be aware of it. Like if you have any of the defense circuit or the centering circuit defined in your chart, you may not even be aware that the quality of this energy is kind of going at other people. But other people can feel it, and they may not even know what it is. Like they just might feel a little bit like, whoa, what's that coming my way? I'm not sure I like that. But it can also feel really good. Like if you're close to somebody and you have harmony and you have trust and there's intimacy, because intimacy is here also in the defense circuit, then it can feel really good, right? Because your energies are coming together and you're really kind of feeling somebody else's energy. Now, the thing is that when the sun is lighting this up, it means that every single person is going to be embodying and expressing this kind of aura busting energy. So you want to be paying attention when something like this happens for what kind of impact you can have on other people, but also what kind of impact they can be having on you. So if you can imagine, everybody's kind of going around and, busting each other's auras, we could potentially get friction, which is one of the names of this gate. So in traditional human design, it's called friction, right? And in quantum human design, it's called impact. And so we can imagine either one of these happening with an aura busting quality. It is an emotional energy. It's half of, in traditional human design, we call the channel of the mating. Its mate is sexuality, the 59 in traditional human design, which is off of the sacral center. And so it is an energy for creating children, for sexuality, for intimacy, ideally, that's coming from the emotional solar plexus, right? And that is also for providing for children. It's a provision kind of an energy as well. So when we're all going to be experiencing this, we want to be able to ground ourselves in a sense of adventure, exploration, breaking through boundaries that do not serve us, and then also being able to create more intimacy with each other, being aware of our impact, being mindful of how our energy might be influencing each other, also how we're being influenced by other people's energy, but also that we can create some more connection and some more intimacy with each other. So they're really different energies, but they're all emotional. So my best suggestion for you is just to get really mindful about what happens with this kind of emotional energy. And those of you who are not emotionally defined, like me, are probably going to be even more aware of this than people who are emotionally defined. And as always, if you have these gates defined in your chart already, you are going to feel this to some degree, but not that much, because it's already there and it's already been imprinted in a certain way. But it is an opportunity for you to kind of change the way that you experience this energy if you choose to. So, for example, if you have had a habit of being more in the friction part of the 6, right? How can you switch that around so that you're more mindful of it and you're more aware of how you can be influencing other people? And also you could be more aware if you are starting to create crises, or if you notice that other people are generating crises around you. So this is just a heads up that starting on Thursday for about 5 days, this energy is going to be influencing all of us. And to be aware means that you can actually grab a hold of this energy and express it and direct it where you will. Okay, I hope this was illuminating for you. I would love it if you would just leave a comment down below about anything that struck you about this, or any awareness that you already have about these kind of energies, or any questions that you have, because I always love to answer your questions. Okay, many blessings, much love.